Private. Oh,
I see you, agent, looking at me in the camera.
Watching you masturbate.
So furiously.
It's brief, but it's powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Short and sweet, buddy, the way I like it.
Okay, well, welcome to another episode of the Two Idiots Podcast. I'm Rich.
I'm Randy.
Yeah, and I figure something we should probably do for any new listeners is say, kind of give a tagline of what our show is kind of in our intro. I think we should probably start doing that.
Sure.
So I think we need to figure something out, but first thing that comes to my mind is we're two idiots trying to figure out the world one conversation at a time. We'll see if that lands.
Sure.
I don't know. Regardless, welcome here, folks. Again,
welcome.
We have an impromptu solo episode on the books right now because we had a guest lined up.
Yeah.
But
Reg and I love when these things happen.
Yeah, he might still be sleeping, so he may or may not join us yet. We'll see what happens. But for the time being, it's going to be me and Randy shooting the shiz.
Mm-hmm. You're stuck with us.
Yeah, you're welcome, boys and girls. So, how's your week been, Randy? When did we last talk? I don't remember. Was it last weekend? It was.
Yeah, it must have been last weekend. Maybe we chat here and there through the week, but
yeah.
You chat like this would have been last weekend.
Yeah. Your daughter's co-preschooler has COVID, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she. We had a notification on Friday at about 2:30 come through that there's a positive case at the daycare, and it's in her cohort. So basically, we're just waiting for public health to call us or call the daycare and let them know what the next steps are.
Not gonna lie, I love that they're now using the word cohort for like schools and COVID stuff because I just picture like little children, Roman legionaries going to war or something. I don't know.
It's phenomenal. But yeah, so we're just waiting to hear from that. She's been fine. Last contact in the email said the kid was in this past Monday on the 30th. So yeah, she's been okay. No symptoms, no nothing. So I think she's in the clear. I mean, we're 7 days out now almost from, I guess, 6 days out, no symptoms yet. So
okay, I mean, good.
At all.
That's
yeah.
Good.
And then we had a backhoe operator test positive recently.
He did test positive
Friday. Yeah, he ended up testing positive. He lost his sense of taste or smell on Wednesday evening. So he said, "Kate, I'm gonna go for a test Thursday." He actually got his results fast. He went for the test Thursday at 12:30. Had his results by Friday at like 2.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, so he got the results real fast. So so he's now isolating, and we were all just told to basically self-monitor because he's in his machine all day. We don't really have any contact with him.
Yeah.
And he was really good all week because I think he kind of felt something was off, so he stayed in his machine all week. He was masked up all week, so
nice. That's good. Responsible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of COVID, folks, go back 1 week's episode and check. Actually, no, I don't know when this will drop. So go check out episode 94.
At least 2 weeks.
Yeah. So this will likely drop in a couple of weeks. But regardless, check out episode 94 for some stories of local COVID impact, some frontline healthcare workers, and others. And us.
Retail workers, we've gotten a lot of really good feedback from it. We appreciate everybody letting us know they were listening to it and enjoying it.
Oh, see that?
Oh,
see that right there?
Look at Reg.
Oh.
I can show you this premium brew coffee mug that I have here.
We can't compete with the Two Idiots mug. But yeah.
I guess as a co-host, I should have my own, eh?
You don't have one yet?
No.
I thought I gave you one.
No.
Well, you could buy one.
$25 for you, buddy.
Yeah, American.
How many do we have left for sale, Reg? How many can we
currently
shell out?
I think I have 4 or 5. I don't know. We sold one, but hoping to move a couple more, or whatever. Who cares? They don't go bad.
Yeah, just if you want one, reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah.
Shout out to who picked up our first mug, Reg?
Mr. Jason Cornelson.
Shout out to Jason Cornelson. You're a damn good man.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. A gentleman and a scholar with a mullet, a rockin' mullet.
A bitchin' mullet.
Yeah, Randy, you should grow a mullet. Would you?
I'd consider it. I don't know if I do it, but I'd consider like I'm kind of growing out my hair now because my lady said it as like a joke that I should grow my hair out. So now I'm growing my hair out.
Yeah.
So maybe once I decide to shave the dome, I'll do a mullet just for shits and giggles for like a day, and then I'll shave her down.
I could never let my hair grow long enough to ever do a mullet. It just doesn't.
This is as long as it's been for a while. I got the back end curls starting to come in.
That's fair.
But yeah, shout out to Jason. Shout out to my mother, Danny Dewick, being our first patron over on Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/2idiots-podcast.
Showing us some love, as you can too, for as little as $3 a month.
We got multiple tiers, 3, 5, 7, 10, whatever you guys would like to give. If you want to give, we really appreciate it. There's a lot of merchandise draws. We got all kinds of giveaways in there. Get some bonus content.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to some, I don't know, some stuff that's going on in the world. Did you see that Ellen Page is no longer Ellen Page?
I did. I guess he is now Elliot Page.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't. Kat randomly told me that earlier in the week, and frankly, I'm not super surprised. But still, it's kind of interesting to hear. And now I'm constantly having to work that through in my head so that it's not that it is Elliot and not Ellen. So.
Right. Yeah, well, I think he's been on the for the full transition to Elliot. I think he was always a big advocate of like the LGBTQ stuff, and I think was openly gay already.
Oh yeah,
I'm almost certain, and then I guess now has fully transitioned over. So
yeah. So basically, he's quoted as saying, I feel lucky to be writing this, to be here, to have arrived at this place in my life. I feel overwhelming gratitude for the incredible people who have supported me along this journey. I love that I am trans. I love that I am queer. And the more I hold myself close and fully embrace who I am, the more I dream, the more my heart grows, and the more I thrive. So, I mean, bravo. Sure. That's great. I'm all about wanting people to live their truth, live their life. So, yeah.
Well, that's just it. Good for a bigger celebrity, really. Coming out and speaking about these things, and making it more acceptable in today's day and age.
For sure. Yeah, I'm really curious how this will work with Umbrella Academy. Whether they'll work that into the story, because see, I don't want to trip over myself here, but because he played their sister, right? So I don't know. Right. I've seen some commentary that he might still play she for the role or something. I don't know quite how that works. But
right, there's no reason he couldn't, right? I mean, it is just a role, so I mean, there's no reason he couldn't just step back into those shoes, right? I mean, maybe they will work it in just as like a, hey, you know what, you're doing this, so why not put it into our story and reach a broader audience, right? That's a very popular show for Netflix, so
for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things that's kind of interesting. I've been trying to figure out more and more about that and sort of see how it feels with me, even though it's not about me, but that type of stuff. I try not to, like with a lot of left issues, if you don't accept it immediately, then, you're kind of hated on.
Right.
And I'm just saying that if, I like to try and think it through a little bit to see kind of how I actually feel, issue by issue. And then there's a lot of complicated things with that. But as far as this goes, all the power to him.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's got nothing to do with anybody else. So I think if you have an issue with it, then you really got to kind of look at yourself and, wonder what else you might be dealing with. But,
yeah.
But no, good for him, and I'm glad that he's happy and can now kind of, like you said, live his truth, right?
Absolutely. Moving on. Did you hear about the Canucks anthem singer getting fired?
I did not. Why did they fire the anthem singer?
He sang the anthem at an event called the Christmas Freedom Rally in Vancouver on Saturday, which is an anti-mask rally.
Did they disguise an anti-mask rally into the Christmas banner?
Maybe. I don't know. But basically, he says he knew he might lose his job for standing up against what he described as the, quote, tyranny of COVID-19 restrictions.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it's the Christmas Freedom Rally, basically just protesting the restrictions in BC.
Right.
So the owner very promptly fired him. So I don't know. Again, at the first when I heard it, it felt kind of extreme, for you to lose your job, and for that, because I don't know at the time I didn't know his motivations, whether it was just a gig or whether he actually believed in what he was performing for. Which,
right.
But does that matter? I don't know, because as a performer, you're responsible for that.
If he's just in it to make the money because he needs the money, I mean, I don't know. Can you fault the guy? But if he does sort of believe, I mean, I don't know. You gotta walk that line, I guess. Hey,
that's what I mean. It's because as a performer, you probably should be aware of what you're promoting and what you're performing for. That's like saying, I don't know, if some artist of the day performed for Hitler's birthday, but he's like, I hate that guy, but I just did it for a paycheck. You'd still get shit on.
You got the Weeknd going to play Blinding Lights for the Fourth Reich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I get it. My first gut reaction was that it felt a little extreme. But I guess they don't want to be associated with that type of movement.
Right.
I still don't quite know how I feel about it, because if he's not representing the Canucks while he's doing it, I wouldn't think.
Right.
But at the same time, he's an employee of the Canucks, so I guess it kind of makes them look bad.
Yeah, I mean, he is a public figure, I guess, right, because of that association. So PR-wise, what do you do if you're the Canucks? If you do stand behind him, then are you part of, like you said, are you part of this movement? What's people are going to come questioning you, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, if it's getting rid of this guy or it's losing money because people now associate you with that, I think you're going to get rid of that guy 100 times out of 100.
It's true. Yeah, that's very common. That
whether that's fair or not, but
yeah,
that's business.
The age in which we live, right? You can't.
Yeah.
What choice would they have? They could suspend him and then do an investigation or whatever. But at the end, they would end up firing him anyway, because if they brought him back, the public outcry would probably outweigh any value he actually brings.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels weird, though.
It's a tough line to walk.
How much money would you need to sing the national anthem at any sporting event? Would you do it for $50,000?
$50,000?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I do it $50,000.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to make an ass of myself. The best part is you'd be on all the top 10 worst anthem performances on TSN for years to come.
You and Roseanne would hold the crown. That's fair.
Can you say?
She's awful. What show did I just see her in? The Office. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Very small cameo in The Office. Let's see.
What other quarantine TV you been watching so far, Edge?
Well, I finished Ozark. And
right, what'd you think?
I loved it. I watched it kind of disjointedly to finish the last season, and that last episode, the way it ended, really surprised me. I half expected that something to happen, but I didn't expect it to be so abrupt. And
for sure.
Yeah, so now I don't know. Yeah, they definitely left it on a cliffhanger. Frankly, season 4 should probably be the last season. What do you think?
I mean, how do you leave it on a cliffhanger like that, though, right?
Yeah, no, but I mean the next season should be their last.
In terms of what, sorry?
I'm saying their last season should be their last season. Oh, sorry, their next season should be their last season.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Go out on the high while you still can. Too many shows try to go too long, and it backfires on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely end when you're on a high. we just finished watching Schitt's Creek recently, and like perfect time to end it. You know, as much as you're invested in the characters, it's like, hey, let's just shut it down now while it's still good. Now you have no bars to keep trying to
Yep.
climb over, right?
Because then they start doing kind of goofy stuff, and everybody becomes a trope, or then they, because every show always has that thing where it's like someone's attracted to their cousin, or all these goofy off the wall things just to try and like spice it up or whatever.
Yeah,
and
well, and
most
they
of them don't
like you
work.
said, they become caricatures of themselves, right? Just
Yeah.
amped up versions of what the character was.
Yep. Speaking of things that we're watching, I watched yesterday We Are the Champions on Netflix. It's like a 6-episode
Oh,
mini
that's with, like the
documentary.
cheese
or whatever.
rolling and shit, eh?
Yeah. And when you were talking about your coworker losing his sense of taste.
Or smell.
One of the episodes was about like chili eating, like competitive eating hot chilies. And I was saying, you could, if you have COVID, and if those events were still going on, you rock one of those. You just get a little COVID, can't taste anything, and you just go pile in chilies and go to town.
I would just do it Homer Simpson style. Have you ever watched episodes of The Simpsons?
I don't know.
So they have it's where Homer goes on his spirit quest. Johnny Cash is the voice of his spirit animal, the coyote. But he goes to the Springfield Chili Cook-Off, and he gets through all the chilies, and then Chief Wiggum puts in the merciless pepper from Quetzal Second Dongo. It's like a super spicy pepper, puts it in his chili, and it absolutely destroys Homer. He gets a drop on his tongue, he's done.
Yeah.
So he's sitting down all dismayed, and he ends up drinking candle wax to coat his mouth. And then he goes and he swallows the pepper whole, and then he goes on a big spirit quest because Marge is all pissed off at him, and he thinks that she's his soulmate and whatever. And
wow,
it's a great episode. You should go watch it. It's fantastic.
Sounds about right. But what I found interesting was, especially that chili one, was that jalapenos are 3,000 Scoville heat units, and then this guy that kind of arranged like the hottest pepper contest or whatever, he had the California Reaper, no, the Carolina Reaper.
Carolina Reaper, yeah.
Which is like 1.2 something million Scoville units. So if you can't handle a jalapeno, imagine that. And then spoilers, whatever, who cares, doesn't matter. They do like he arranges a competition, and it has, I think, 13 contestants. No, maybe not that many. 10. But they do 13 rounds, and round 6 is the Carolina Reaper. So they basically, and they're not allowed to drink anything. I don't even think you can between rounds. You're not allowed to drink.
Jesus.
They have cups of milk or whatever ready for you, and you tap out when you either take a sip, you say you're done, or you hurl. One of those options, and you're out. But basically, so in the middle of this competition is the Carolina Reaper, which is considered by Guinness World Records the hottest pepper in the world, or that's ever been recorded. But then the guy
there
who made
is now an unofficial one that is hotter.
Yeah, he apparently bred like 7 more above that are yet hotter than that, but they haven't been like rated by Guinness or whatever. And so then these people go all the way to the end. It ends up as a head-to-head between a guy and a girl, and so they're eating these just insanely hot peppers, just crying and like fighting back, throwing up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that all you win is $1,000.
Oh, Jesus. No,
how is that worth it? I mean, yeah, you get bragging rights, I guess, but whoop-de-doo. It's just...
well, it's like when you go to those restaurants and you eat like a 10-pound meal and you get a t-shirt and a picture on the wall. It's like, was it really worth it?
Or what's worse is when you just get the meal for free.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done any of those. I could. I'm a glutton, and I'll eat till I explode if I have to, but if the only thing I win is the fact that I don't have to pay for this massive meal, then what? Why would I bother?
Yeah, what's the point?
I don't know. But anyway,
so
it was
apparently
kind of
the Pepper X is from the creator of the Carolina Reaper. And it's unofficially got 3.18 million Scoville units. So I mean, twice as hot as the Carolina Reaper.
Jesus.
and it's also the pepper ingredient of the Last Dab, which is on the Hot Ones YouTube show.
Oh,
It's
that
always the final
checks out.
sauce they put on the wings. It's whatever 3 million Scoville units the
That is
sauce itself.
crazy. I enjoy spice as a flavor, not as like it just needs to be hot. I hate that. But
Right.
yeah, it would take a lot more than $1,000 to even enter a competition like that for me.
Oh, 100%. I know. I'm the same way. I like to have one of the best hot sauces I ever had was Blair's. I believe it was a mango hot sauce,
Oh, that sounds good.
and it was good. Like it was really nice and fruity and sweet, but it had a lot of kick to it because I like my food spicy. So
You should you should check out 1882 fruit based hot sauces. I forget their name now. I'm gonna look on Instagram.
is that the one that Derek was using?
I don't know. Yeah, 1882 fruit based hot sauce. I have one in the fridge right now, and it's all fruit based. It's sweet, but it's spicy, but it doesn't last. It's not like you burn your mouth and it's burning for the rest of the day.
Right.
It literally
Right.
hits and then it sort of dissipates, and your mouth doesn't hurt. It's great. It's wonderful. And
I'm definitely gonna check them out.
what's neat is that each bottle, the way I understand it, when he told me, was that 1882 is when the Winnipeg Fire Department was founded, and each bottle name, they're all numbered with different fire department stations in Winnipeg, and with like a picture of like their old school look, whatever. It's really neat, kind of local connection to Winnipeg, and kind of as a shout out to our fire departments that I feel like fire departments or firefighters don't get enough love of everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely not.
It's a real bummer. I think it's because there's not enough fires. As bad as that sounds,
yeah,
let me explain.
They're not really out in the public eye as much as your police and
how, especially in our community, how many fires are there on average in a month? 2?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, we're a smaller place, but like on average, you're not going to see a lot of action. But when things go sideways, we need them immediately, and I think we need to give them a little more props.
And they respond to accidents too, but they're typically seen as kind of the background players in accidents. But if the jaws of life are needed, they're the guys who are operating them. And
it's fair. I still remember when I was, how old would I have been? I didn't have a cell phone yet, so 13, 14 maybe. I was at home by myself. All of a sudden, our carbon monoxide detector just went off, just full on blaring. Yeah. And we were living out in the country a little ways, and I quickly called 911, as you do. And so then I called it, and they're just like, just leave the phone unhooked, and we'll track you, but get out of the house. I was like, all right. Yeah. So I went out. It was winter time, I think, so I was just chilling. And then the whole fucking cavalry show up. They had an ambulance. They had a couple of like volunteer firemen or whatever with their regular cars with the red lights, and they had at least, I think, one fire truck, and just people come roaring in, and they quickly check everything out. And I think it was just a faulty meter or a faulty detector.
Right.
So it turned out to be nothing, and I survived, clearly. But
I guess they can't dick around, right? Because someone could call, and then 2 seconds later they're unconscious because they've been breathing in carbon monoxide for the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. So it was exciting, and it was nighttime, so the lights are all flashing. Shit's wild.
Oh, shit, yeah, for sure. Nothing more a kid wants to see than nice big fire trucks rolling up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't even that young, but the little kids especially enjoy it. Okay. What? So I noticed that the UK is starting to. They might be rolling out their COVID vaccine as early as next week, which again will be outdated by the time this drops. But it's interesting to see that countries and places are starting to already get the vaccine. So
yeah, Russia rolled out Sputnik 5 on their masses.
It's probably literally just a syringe full of vodka and like sand.
Probably. But they're rolling out theirs, and I guess I thought I heard for the Russian one, if you're over 60, they're not letting anyone over 60 get it.
Oh, Really?
which seems kind of strange. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up right now. I heard it on. It was on CBC News or something.
Over
But nobody
60,
believes
eh?
Russia that it's effective because it's Russia.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's fair. Russia's always been very stand up and very trustworthy is the word. I don't
Right.
think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that we should treat them like that, Randy. It's they're really good at the Olympics. They've always been on the up and up with everything.
Yeah.
Their
Not
elections are
because
very
they
clear.
don't use PEDs, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's totally not a thing.
Yeah, it says an online registration service allows city residents in the above professions aged 18 to 60 to book free appointments at 70 sites around the city. I mean, I guess maybe you can. Maybe you just can't make an appointment if you're over 60.
Or it's Russia and they don't care about old people. That could very well
That
be.
could be. Or they figure, well, let's vaccinate the young people who are out in the population, and then, through hopefully herd immunity, it doesn't get to the seniors.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Seems strange.
It is strange. Very strange.
But yeah, what do you think of the rollout and the potential effects of it? Or I mean, so far I don't know which one they're going to be rolling out, if it's the Pfizer or the Moderna, but thus far it seems like the trials have gone well.
Yeah.
There
I'm
hasn't been any major side effects.
I'm keeping it level, but I'm hoping that everything goes well. I'm not getting my hopes up too high, but I hope that it works. I hope that we can move forward and see if we can get this all figured out and move forward. But I'm not gonna hang all my hopes on it, especially for us to get it, because now Pallister is fighting with the federal government because they made a comment about giving Indigenous communities first dibs because they've been impacted pretty heavily by COVID.
Yeah.
But now he's starting to make those kind of comments, which is just an added thing that he does.
Yeah, that's not ideal message coming from our premier.
No, Randy, this is totally off topic, but you should do your Michael Caine impression.
You can't just put me on the spot like that, right?
I told myself the next time we did a solo, you needed to do it, and it occurred to me right now.
It has to come more naturally than that, Red.
All right.
Oh, Christ. Okay, hang on. The easiest way to get into the voice, I guess, is just do the my cocaine thing.
Yeah.
You just say my cocaine, and you just always say my cocaine. See, they fuck. Hang on. Okay, hang on. When I was out in the Amazon rainforest, they told a ruby the size of a tangerine. Because some men, that's what I like. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
It's great. I enjoy it. He was here, featuring special guest Michael Caine.
I know, right? Why do we fall down, Master Wayne? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Yeah.
I hear what I said last time. It made you think of that. Oh, it was when he's talking about which movies he does. I read the first page, and then I read the last page, and if I'm on both pages, I do the fucking movie.
Yep. Oh, so good. I wish I could.
But yeah,
do
no,
accents.
I hope it goes well out there for that rollout. I'm just kind of reading this off CNN now. There was a woman who was in the COVID-19 vaccine trial, and it looks like her and her husband were both in the trial. Her husband is a doctor who treats cancer patients. And basically the headline, it's 4 hours of body aches cured by a common pain reliever. That's the extent of the side effects Susan Froelich endured after taking 2 shots of an experimental Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, and she would absolutely do it again if needed. I woke up with a horrible stomachache and headache, and it was like I was at the beginning stages of a bad flu, she told CNN. And so I didn't have anything to take for it at the time, so I was in a lot of pain until about 4 hours later when my husband woke up, and I had him go get me some naproxen. All the symptoms went away. Had she had naproxen right away, she thinks the symptoms would have abated more quickly. She said my muscles hurt, my joints hurt, my bones hurt, my jaw hurt, but it was for such a short time, she said. So it sounds like basically body pain amongst your whole entire body for a couple hours.
Yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, that can happen to anybody when they get any vaccine. That's kind of one of the things they say is a usual side effect.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Randy? Should we toss in a guest that we had delayed, or continue solo?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see if see if it works out. We've never really done this before. I had an impromptu guest interrupt an impromptu episode in the middle of recording, but we'll see how it goes.
It's very impromptu.
Yeah, maybe that's what they'll have to be called. I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if we should touch on where was I? Oops. The Canadian government spending a lot of money. That was a thing that was going around, making its rounds.
That $240 billion or something.
Something 240 billion in 8 months, and another like 80 or more is expected, or something, or 100 billion in the next, I don't know, yearish or something. And again, I don't care. If I'm being honest, it's not an issue to me. I don't know. I'm not a fiscal conservative, I guess. And I'm glad that the Canadian government was so quick to give supports to businesses and people. And if that means that we spent a lot of money, then I guess we spent a lot of money.
Well, I mean, that's just it, eh? Like, either we have something like that, or we have something like the States where it's like, oh, here's a single $1,200 check for everybody, and we're done. That's all they got to do.
And they gave some additional.
I'd rather have people be able to be funded through this whole thing and have money and not have to worry about how they're going to pay their bills and shit. But do the loans for small businesses and stuff have to be better? Yes. I mean, that $5,000 that I think Pallister and the Manitoba government were offering is nothing.
Nope. On that note, sorry to interrupt, but we're going to add a guest here.
Sure. Hello?
Hello, Reg and Randy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not bad.
I'm not giving you guys any video. I'm not. And here's why. Because I'm not in a place where I can do that.
Just on the can or what?
Not happening. No video.
That's fair.
Next time we can do video.
Okay. We'll make
Perfect.
Well, welcome here.
So which one of you guys was doing the accents? Was that Reg or Randy?
It was Randy.
What accents? What do you
I was doing my my Michael Caine impression that Reg thinks is spot on.
Let's hear it.
I gotta do this again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Come
do it
on,
again.
let's hear it.
Okay, now I gotta get into it again. So the first joke I heard was Michael Caine, how he picks his movies was, well, I read the first page and I read the last page. If I'm on both pages, I do the fucking movie.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. I forget how Michael Caine sounds, so it might be fucking great or it might fucking suck.
He sounds exactly like that. Take my word for it.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm kidding. It was really good. Hey, you want to know what the hardest accent or impersonation to do would be? I've heard guys try to do this, and they fail miserably every time. Christopher Walken.
Oh, I hear that a lot.
Do you know anybody who can do a passable Christopher Walken?
He's a tough one for sure. It's hard to get the right inflection on him.
Yeah, because of the way he talks. I can't get that cadence down. Right? It's just one of those things. It's difficult. So what are you guys talking about? I just kind of popped in the middle here. Sorry to interrupt.
I guess we should probably introduce you. Mr. Shadoe Davis is on the Two Idiots podcast now. Better late than never.
Two Idiots. I love it. I think it's fucking awesome. What a great name. Two Idiots.
We've heard. It's disarming in a way that it kind of allows us to be total goofballs while also we can touch on heavy things and we're not expected to be experts. So it works out pretty well.
They're just idiots. They can
Yeah.
talk about it all they want, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. It's perfect.
It kind of works.
You don't have to take responsibility for anything. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Always defer. Always defer. So thanks for joining us, Shadoe. Frankly,
Hey.
I remember listening to you on the radio a few years ago, and it was always, I didn't spend a lot of time listening just to your show, but the name always stuck with me. Just the name Shadoe. I don't know. I've always loved it, and so kudos on a good name.
Thanks. You can thank my mother for that one.
Do you know what the inspiration was? Just it sounded cool?
No. You know what? I've got 6 different explanations as to how that name came about. Which one would you like? Number 3, number 5, number 1?
Whichever's most interesting.
Okay, so it's like 1987 when it first happened, right? So what happened was I was working at CKY AM radio as the promotions director, and I was doing some on-air stuff on weekends, and I'd been doing radio for 5 or so years. And the boss of the FM side, the city FM side, walked over to the AM side and said, "How would you like to come and do some real radio?" And I said, "Like, what the fuck does that mean?" And he goes, "Well, we're looking for we're doing some changes to the lineup on City, and we're wondering if you'd come over." And I said, "Yeah, fucking anything to get me away from playing Lionel Richie and Madonna and fucking ballots in Winnipeg Jets goal rush contests." And so he goes, "All right, well, meet me in my office at like 3:00 and we'll talk." And so I went over there, and he told me what they'd wanted. And the station at that time was changing back to its rock roots. They'd done this experimentation in pop in the mid 80s, right? Excuse me. And so they were changing back to rock from playing the Madonnas and I think they even played "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal at one point. That was their extreme low point, and people were protesting because there was no more rock station left in the city. And 97 at that point took a little bit of a rise as a rock station because City had abandoned it completely. So City was trying to make this comeback, and to do that, they had to get rid of all of their pop announcers and replace them with what they thought could be good rock announcers. And I guess they recognized that in me. So they came to me and they said, "Your name won't cut it, man." And I'd have to give you my real name, which is not like a bad name or anything. It's just that it's not a memorable rock radio name. And at that time, you had guys on the air like Lamont Hollywood, a guy called The Bird, right? Like, I mean, there was all these extreme names. And so dude said, "You got to come up with a name by Monday, by the time you go on the air, or I'm calling you Mike Oz, the man behind the curtain."
Oh, wow.
Well, that will never do. This is the real story, guys. This is not me making something up. So I went, okay, well, I don't want to be Mike Oz. So I went home with a bottle of rye, and I invited some buddies over, and I said, "Here's the story." And they were all really excited that I was going to go work on City FM because that was everybody's station, right? "Oh, we're going to make it a rock station again. It's going to be so cool, man. Like, you're our buddy. You're going to be on the station." Everybody's kind of like the guys are all dancing around, celebrating because they had some inside information as to what was going on. I said, "Yeah, guys, but now I got to have a new name." And they went, "Oh, shit. Like, what do we do?" So they pulled out the phone book, right? And they started going through it, and they wrote down all the basic generic last names, like Williams and Stevens and Smith and everything that you could think of, Michaels, all that stuff. Davis was in there too. And first names. Well, let's come up with some exotic first names, like whatever. They just throw something out. If they saw something pass by, Taillight Davis, you're going to be Taillight Davis. And we'll come up with that, or fucking Dresser Drawer Smith, or whatever, like just some whatever object you see first was
the I Spy name selection.
Right, exactly. It was what it was. And the ride kept flowing, and everybody got stupider. And then I remembered the day before I'd gone out to do a live broadcast at the grand opening of a Shell Circle K store at the last second. And I was the last second replacement for somebody who couldn't come and do it. And, generally when you go out to a live presentation, you're going to be cleaned up and looking decent, right? Well, that day I was on a day off and I hadn't shaved and I was wearing sweatpants and they said, "Can you go and do this thing?" And I went, "Yeah, I guess I can." "Well, I gotta go and get ready." "Well, you got no time." I said, "Can I at least go change my clothes?" So I went and changed my clothes. Didn't have time to shave, and the afternoon guy noticed that. And when he introduced me, he said, "And it's time to listen to the 5 o'clock Shadow from the Circle K." And I went, Shadow, that's great, but I'm going to take that name and I'm going to put an E on it instead of a W, so it sounds like a name. And so I said, "Guys, what do you think about Shadow?" And then we went through all those last names, and finally we settled on Davis, Shadoe Davis. And at first, to me, it sounded really clunky and weird. And the more you say it, the more it just kind of flowed, right? And by the end of the weekend, this was Friday night, we did all this in like 4 or 5 hours. I know it's a long explanation. It sounds like it probably should have taken a couple of days, but it was just that night with the big freaking 40 jug of rye, and then a supplemental bottle after that.
Of course.
And a celebratory bottle.
Yeah, supplement, man. Like, you got to have bottle in reserve. So we did it all in one night. And so I'm sitting with it for the entire weekend going, Shadoe Davis, Shadoe Davis, Shadoe Davis. Does that sound good? So I'm throwing it around to other people, like my dad even. I said, "What do you think of this?" And he goes, "I think that's fucking ridiculous." And I went, "Okay, good. If he thinks it's ridiculous, that must mean that it's a great idea." So Monday morning, I was supposed to be on the air at 10 o'clock. And the boss said, "Come and meet me at 9 before you go on. We'll go over everything, and you're going to give me that name you came up with. And if it's decent, we're going to go with it. But if not, you're going to be Mike Oz, the man behind the curtain." And I said, "All right." So I walked in and I said, "All right, Danny." The guy's name was Danny Danny Kingsbury, like superstar. And I walked in and I sat down. I goes, "Shadoe Davis." I said it with authority, right? And he rubs his chin for a second. Do you guys ever see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Not for years, but yeah.
Okay, so the beginning of the movie where they're sitting showing this guy the plans for their advertising, and he's looking at him and and they're all kind of sweating it out, waiting for him to decide. Well, that's exactly how I felt in that minute. Like, I think that probably 2 minutes passed when it felt more like an hour of him. And he went, at the end of it, he said, "I like it. Shadoe Davis, it is." Boom! And that was it. 10 o'clock that morning, we went out with Shadoe Davis, and Lamont Hollywood was on in the afternoon, and we had the Breakfast Club on in the morning, and it just stayed for the last 33 years.
Wow. Huh.
And guys, I have met friends, like very close friends. "Hey, Shadoe, how's it going? This is Gordo or Ron or whoever I meet," and they meet you as that name, right? So it actually becomes your name, even though it's not your given name. That's how they know you, and that's what they're going to call you. And they'll ask, "Hey, what's your name anyway?" And I tell them, and they go, "I'm going to stick with Shadoe." They've known me for 20 years, right? It's not like they're talking to some radio personality they met. They're talking to their friend.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's kind of neat that way.
For sure. I equate it to like a pro wrestler, because like I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I've watched it for years. It's like, so if I met like Triple H, do I call him Paul Levesque or do I call him Triple H? Right? Like, it's just that's what I've known him as for so long, so that's what I'm going to call him.
Exactly. And that's, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know what it is exactly, but I answer to both names. But you're right, the Triple H. So is Triple H your fave?
He was for quite a long time. I would say overall, he's certainly in my top 5. My number 1 of all time is Bret Hart. Great Canadian icon. But yeah, he's definitely up there.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Bret Hart?
I did. I met him. He came through to 2 Comic-Cons through Winnipeg. He actually signed his autobiography for me.
He is one of the nicest guys.
Super nice, super nice. I had nothing but nice things to say about him.
Yeah, fantastic guy. I was doing a live radio marathon in Calgary once. I was working there in '95, and so we did this really long 107-hour radio marathon. Like just
Right.
the two of us morning guys, we did this long radio marathon to raise non-perishable food and toys for kids' Christmas. And he came by with he was the champ at the time, so he had his belt. And he
Oh
came
yeah,
by
that's Bret Hart at the height of his powers, right there in '95.
Yeah, he was awesome. It was like Bret Hart comes walking in, and you go, "Whoa, that's like Bret Hart, man! Like that's so cool." And he had like these guys, they take the extra time. I'm not sure if they all do, but Bret Hart, guys like him, when he comes into it, because we were in a shopping mall doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
When he walks into a shopping mall and it's jam packed, I imagine that he would expect to be mobbed by people, especially in a city like Calgary where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened, and there's kids and they want to take pictures, and dude would not stop until everybody got one.
Yeah.
Everybody got a handshake or an autograph or a picture because he thought that he owed them that. And guys like Bobby Hull, say what you will about Bobby Hull and what's come out about Bobby in the past few years more publicly than it had before, but that guy would stick around until the last kid in line got the autograph, and I really appreciated that. And actually, that's something that I always took to heart too. It doesn't happen as much for, radio people because we're not visible faces, but people do recognize us from time to time. Even though I haven't worked on the radio in 3 years, I still get it. Like I'll be walking through a Safeway or something, and hey, Shadoe, what's going on? I won concert tickets from you in like 1998. And I say, what concert, man? They go, Aerosmith. It was awesome. I say, oh, cool, that's great. And so you take the extra time, and you make sure that you talk to that person because you don't want to ruin their memory. Their memory is in there, and it's a good memory for them, and you want to do the best you can not to fuck it up.
For sure, absolutely.
So,
One without those fans, where might you be, right?
Nowhere, man. You're nowhere, and that's part of working on radio or you guys doing a podcast. It's connecting with people, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Yeah, it's almost feels more personal. It's more because most times, especially with podcasts, you're sitting in your car by yourself, or you're working in the garage, or listen to the radio. Same thing. It feels like the person that's talking, and same thing with a radio DJ like yourself. So it's important to kind of cultivate that kind of personable personality.
Yeah, well said, man. Like seriously, you gotta just reach out and talk to people and talk to them. And there's so many people who work on radio behind a mic, whatever, whether it's a podcast or whether it's a radio station or a live stream even. And they will talk at you. You can take our premiere the last couple of months as a prime example.
That's what we were just talking about before you joined us.
I suspected as much. He has been talking at people. He has been pointing fingers at people. He has been maligning people. He is not talking to people. And the last time he tried it, he told a story about himself. Me, I. You know what? If you want to be a successful person behind a microphone, you are talking to people and relating directly to them one-on-one each and every time. Yeah. And if you're not doing that, you are not making a connection and you are ineffective.
I love
and
that.
Your career will not be a long one.
Yeah.
And I hope the same for Pallister too, because that guy is making some bad decisions, making some even poorer comments to the public. Like you're on the one hand, you're saying we all need to be on Manitoba, you idiots.
Yeah.
We all need to be on Team Manitoba, you idiots. So basically, we want you idiots on our team.
Yeah.
And I'm the man you need right now. Like, are you kidding? The arrogance of him to say something like that?
Yeah.
Like,
and
man,
then
I did that. Oh.
Then he weeps a little bit, and some other mainstream news media, they love it. And then Manitobans are like, dude, nobody cares.
I got to tell you guys, man, like sometimes you can watch an interview with somebody. It doesn't happen very often. But you can watch an interview with somebody and feel like you just want to punch that son of a bitch right in the fucking face. Like, dude, do you understand how big an ass you're making of yourself right now? Have you guys heard of this new satire website? It's called The Screaming. Oh man, it's like it's kind of like the Beaverton, the screaming chicken or something.
I don't know.
It's really funny, right? And there's a couple of satire articles about Pallister, and
the screaming
it's
goat,
just classic.
No,
the screaming loon, the screaming goose.ca.
Screaming Goose.
Yeah, the screaming goose.ca. You guys got to go and read that. It's hilarious.
Definitely
have to check them out.
And the Daily Bonnet, while you're at it, the Daily Bonnet's funny too. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that.
We had the creator on the show, actually.
Did you? Oh, yep. Funny guy.
He's a local guy.
Where did they get the ideas? Like, I think the last article was mysterious monolith appears outside Winkler Co-op.
Yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. I love his content, and it especially hits well for me because I grew up in a Mennonite family. So a lot of the jokes really land with me, and I'll read them to my wife, and she's not Mennonite at all, and she doesn't get it. She doesn't think it's funny.
She doesn't get it. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, some of that Mennonite stuff I don't get really, but I think it's funny, just because it's so centralized, it's so localized. It's like I'm sure but there's some you do get, right? Like judgy Mennonite woman watching pornography behind or caught watching pornography behind closed drapes in living room sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And go, yeah, so we're all a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah.
We can sit there and point fingers at other people, but when it comes to us, I'm sitting there drinking another bottle of rye at 2:00 in the afternoon with porn on the TV, on the big screen, the 72-inch.
For sure. Anyway.
I'm on the Screaming Goose right now, and the top headline is Manitoba publicly executes a citizen for breaking COVID rules.
Right? Hilarious.
The final word is the People's Government in Manitoba warns more public executions will come if COVID-19 cases continue to increase. We are all in this together.
Right? Okay, guys, you want to know what? I'm at my girlfriend's place, and I got to go. I just wanted to pop in and say hi, and I'm sorry for ditching you the last couple of weeks. I'm a dick. I'm sorry. I apologize. But any time, guys, you want to, have me on, we have a longer discussion, I would love that.
Sounds good. We'll try and touch base in the new year.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Shadoe. See you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Well, that was a brief little interstitial.
Well, a quick little pop in. Look at that.
Yeah. It worked out okay, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So now we know that Shadoe Davis isn't his real name. It didn't occur to me that so many radio people have pseudonyms.
I kind of assumed as much because it's sort of like a stage name, right?
I guess. It just never, I don't know. For whatever reason, it never crossed my mind that was the thing.
Right.
But I guess that makes sense. I was going to ask what his
I guess if you're like a Mike Smith, you want to zhuzh it up a little bit for going on, right?
What would your stage name be, Randy?
Oh, Lord. I have no fucking idea, Red.
Roast Beef
What would your
Williams.
stage name be?
Yeah. Mine, I don't know. I've never thought about it. I try not to think about myself. What if my name is my stage name, Randy?
What if Ramblin' Reg Weeb?
What if I've been lying to you for 20 years?
Maybe you have. Huh? What are you going to do about it, Daryl?
Oh, I don't know. I already have a weird name. I think I could get away with Reg, but maybe not the last name.
Right. You think I would have one because I've been such a wrestling fan for all my life that I'd have like a wrestling name, quote unquote, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't. You need to work roast beef in there somewhere.
I do.
I don't know.
I got nothing.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Well, somehow we did an hour, and I don't actually
look at that, eh?
Yeah. So I guess we can consider this episode featuring Shadoe Davis for the 15 minutes that he joined us. But it seems like an interesting guy, and I'd like to. I would like
brief
to
encounters of the radio kind.
Potential episode title. We're
there. You go.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we should probably do a little ad stuff, or what do you think, Randy?
Sure. Should we read an ad out? Should we Sell the people some things?
I think we should. I think we're supposed to. I think we're contractually obligated to do so, in fact.
I think that's part of the whole deal of being sponsored.
Yeah, I think so. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, on that note.
This episode of the Two Idiots Podcast, as always, brought to you by Manscaped. Now listen up, fellas. 2020 sucked. See, Manscaped, make no bones about it. 2020 sucked.
It's true.
It's almost the new year, which means new balls with our sponsor, Manscaped.
Oh, I'll go.
Insert reg there.
Yeah, Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and helping 2 million men all over the world get rid of hair on their balls. You're welcome, world.
Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy.
Exactly.
Now, if you let yourself go in 2020 while in quarantine, which, let's be real, we all did, Manscaped is here for you to reboot and stay clean and shaved in 2021.
Yeah, we've all added, a couple of pounds to COVID-19, as they say. So this is a nice little thing to kind of make yourself feel a little bit better about yourself, because 2020 has been dog shit. So I'm glad that such nice things exist, and you can feel a little bit better.
Exactly, Take a couple pounds off the old body, take a couple inches off the old nutsack.
Inches.
You're good to go. Of hair.
Well, I know, but that's aggressive.
Hey, man. Hey, it's like the 70s now. No one's doing nothing here. That's why we need the Manscaped products.
It's just Gandalf down there.
That's right.
But yeah, we all know that 2020 has been rough. Personally, it's just been a bit of a struggle trying to stay upbeat, stay positive, stay active. I had to replace my furnace and my sewer line, which listeners of the show will probably be aware of by now. So 2020 has been kind of rough. So I'm glad that that we can move forward.
Yeah, it's been brutal for everybody. And look, Manscaped is here to give you a fresh start in 2021 with their Perfect Package 3.0. It has all the right tools for the job.
That is right. Come out of quarantine with clean balls thanks to the Lawnmower 3.0. This waterproof and skin-safe trimmer will reduce nicks to your two best friends.
Ooh, that's always nice. The third generation trimmer even has a light to give you the glow up you need in 2021.
Glow up. It's also time to freshen up down there this new year. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? And for the on-the-go freshness, you'll love the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. I've used it. Works. It checks out. I like it.
Oh, it works like a charm. Nice little tingle. Nice little get up and go in the morning.
Get you a little revved up.
Yeah. 2020 was awful, so let's make sure your boys are refreshed, ready for new beginnings in 2021.
That's true. Manscaped even threw in their Shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. Speaking of comfort, the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included and are hands down the best underwear you will ever wear. I can speak to both of those things. They are both style, especially the travel bag, stylish, clean, sleek. The underwear is comfy. It's great quality.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the travel bag. I'm a man who likes his travel bags, and this one certainly did not disappoint me.
A man who likes his travel bags. That's such a weird thing to say.
Now, everyone knows that a guy with hairy balls is like the year 2020. Don't be that guy. Okay? Don't. Nobody likes it.
No. Get ready for your next party or your next shindig, your next get-together with, the special someone, and get 20% off and free shipping with the code IDIOTS at manscaped.com.
Your balls will thank you.
They will, as will whoever is rummaging around down there. It's do them a favor.
Oh, yeah.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IDIOTS at manscaped.com. That is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code IDIOTS. Happy New Year's to your balls.
Happy New Year, balls. Enjoy.
Exactly. Check them out, folks.
Yeah. Santa wants to see those lumps of coal, okay?
He does. He does.
He doesn't want to search for them. He wants to see them.
Santa's a freak, if you didn't know.
Climbing down chimneys and shit.
He's a voyeur. He creeps around your house. He's an intruder.
It's true.
I'm amazed he hasn't been
Santa's
Me Too'd yet, to be honest.
Do you think Santa uses Manscaped? I think he does.
Imagine just the big white beard and just the super clean nuts.
I think Mrs. Claus doesn't want to be flossing those teeth, if you know what I'm saying. So Santa keeps it clean.
I think you're right, though. Yeah. Fuck.
So
Anyway.
So make sure you ask Santa for the perfect package 3.0 this year.
We're moving on. We're done with this. Check us out on Instagram at Two Idiots Podcast, on Facebook, Two Idiots Podcast, and on Twitter, Two Idiots Show. Oh, and YouTube. You might already be watching this, but search up the Two Idiots Podcast on YouTube. Look for our logo. That's us.
Find us there, and by email, doubleidiotspodcast@gmail.com. Send us your comments, questions. Just get in touch with us. Let us know what you want to hear. And you can also go to patreon.com/2idiotspodcast. For as little as $3 a month, you can help out the show, help us, get some equipment upgraded, make the show better for you guys. And we have some giveaways, some extra stuff for Patreon, for patrons only. And go check us out.
For sure. Also, add a word of email stuff. I reached out to Bianca Andreescu, the Canadian tennis pro. She does not want to come on the show, but now we know.
No.
So
very politely declined.
Yeah, so using that email, you can, if you want to be a guest, chat about stuff, say hi.
If you have guest suggestions, if you know someone who wants to come on or might have an interesting story, by all means, let us know.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, I guess we'll shut down this episode. It was an interesting one.
It was.
So, I don't even remember what we all talked about, but I hope that you enjoyed listening. And, we're likely this will probably be around the holiday season, so enjoy your Christmas, your Hanukkah, your what's the Seinfeld one? Yeah.
Feliz Navidad, all that good stuff.
Exactly. All right, folks. Thank you for now. Have a good day.
Laters on the Menjay.
Okay, bye.